Okay, now that we've actually done that lock, let's talk to Foley again, shall we?
Ah, well, they're right. What's your name?
Nigel Shirley, from York.
Ah, Nigel from York. Never heard anything about you. How'd you hear about me?
Ooh. Ah. Do I go Westgate prisoners or jailed thief, I wonder? Uh. Hmm. I reckon jailed thief?
It's a long story. I met your brother, Vincent the Butcher Foley, in prison. He told me all about his betrayal and all about you. Before I was released, he told me that you might find a job for me one day and pay me some money for me craft.
Well, he died. 7 days ago, in prison.
I'm sorry to hear that.
That's all right. The traitor has paid the blood price for it. And you'll do the job anyway, because I need a talented lockpicker. I know just where to search for his legacy.
It's all about the Hellenistic treasures, isn't it?
Osh, you fool. Now, listen up. You'll come with us tonight, and you better mind yourself.
Us? Wait, who's coming then?
Billy, Jack and me.
And what will I get for that?
We'll share the loot. The one you seem to know about.
Right.
Wait for us at the abandoned manor house on a corner of Ladbroke Grove and Kensington Park Road at midnight.
Deal.
Okay. Any clue? Oh, still got this one that we still need to figure out. Just want to just check and see if there's any extra deductions. Find and examine the secret lock at Nottingham Hill Manor. Ooh. Let's do this.
Here I am at the manor. Somewhere inside it are the Hellenistic treasures.
Indeed. Need to do something of
This
it.
lock is quite old. It shouldn't be much of a challenge.
Okay. Oops. Let's start with the obvious one. Okay, so that would go there then. Okay, so which, if that were the case, oh, hang on a minute. Whoa. Alright, so that would take this one here. Oop. Not what I meant to do. Any more? Oh, there's this one here. Get in there. Yes! Yes! Nice!
I need to find where the safe is hidden and lockpick it.
Okay.
This cupboard is an absolute mess. Several books have fallen from the shelves. It seems as though this cupboard can be moved. I'll give it a try.
Well, well, well.
So, that's the lock I must open tonight. Let me see.
Okay. Oh boy. Okay, let's figure this out a bit logically, shall we? Move this up here. Put that there. And I would assume that whichever way this... Huh. So none of those fit in that direction. Okay, so there's one that fits on this side though. Start with that one. Good. You down. Okay. Ah, okay. There we go.
What a surprise. Another lock. And I won't be able to pick it. I recall that precious key around Foley's neck. It might prove a decent fit. I suppose they hired me to only open the first lock. Let us wait for the thieves, trap them, and find out.
Okay, I like the idea.
Let us check the thieves' possible escape routes in the event that they are caught off guard by the police from the front door. Although this window is high above the ground, it would be possible for one of the thieves to attempt to use it for their escape.
Certainly would.
This should be useful.
Ah, I like it.
One step on these beads, and our thief will go flying. I should walk carefully here, else my plan will be ruined.
Another much more obvious way.
The ground floor window is a perfect way to escape the police.
How would I stop that? Oh, that's true.
This works very well. No one will escape through this window now.
Very true. Hatch.
There is no ladder. If anyone falls here, he will need assistance to get out.
Cool.
Any thief who finds his way upstairs will roll down very quickly.
can jump over it though.
This door is a perfect means of escape in an emergency.
Huh.
A solid rope.
I like it.
This door leads to a kitchen, which holds the shortest route to the back door. This should be useful.
How are we gonna do this one?
The door is now blocked.
Okay.
The door is now blocked.
Oh, Dad.
The door is now blocked.
No! Oh, God! What have I done? Went there, the stupid...
This should
Oh,
be
okay.
useful.
Oh, okay. Oh, I can take it now. Oh, bloody typical. So...
This hatch leads to a cellar.
So...
The door is now blocked.
Oh, I meant... Those used on the... Oh, I've used on the wrong door. Idiot! Idiot! How the hell? What? Oh, come on! Open the frickin' door,
The
please.
door is now blocked.
Just open... What? Oh, don't tell me. Oh. I didn't realize I could do that. Oh.
I wonder what this old chandelier is doing on the floor. It looks as though it was poorly attached. I suppose that the thieves already tried to open the lock with this formidable hammer, but they were unsuccessful.
Ah.
Now, if anyone takes the hammer, the rope will uncoil and make the chandelier fall. If he runs through the dining room and takes a sledgehammer to force open the door, the chandelier will knock him down.
So I'm missing something for that cellar, aren't I? So what am I supposed to use for that? The hatch. Confused as hell. Okay, so...
The door is now blocked.
So what the hell am I supposed to use for... No, that's not what I meant to do. What am I supposed to use? Unless I can use this for... What the actual hell? What am I missing? says I'm supposed to use something, but I don't know what I'm supposed to use.
The door is now blocked.
Like, game, you're not being very helpful to me right now. What the hell? Unless anything I could have missed. Chair. Oh, thank you. Oh, okay.
This should be useful.
Right, there we go. Okay, that's, I was like, I suppose I didn't show up originally. Anyway, not being thorough enough. I know, I'm not being thorough enough. Yes, I know. I'm calling it out on myself, don't worry. Dimwit. Oh,
Now,
dear.
it's not an open hatch, just a nice carpet on the floor. I should walk carefully here, else my plan will be ruined. Now, if a thief runs through the kitchen, he'll pay a surprise visit to the cellar. The traps for my circus companions are all prepared. I can leave now, but I'll return later with Charles Foley and his companions.
Nice. Fantastic.
Police! Police!
Well, that's...
Stop where you are! Where are they?
Trapped, Watson, with your assistance.
How so?
Oh, you sounded just like a real Bobby, my dear fellow. You startled them into the traps.
I did?
Yeah.
I assure you, Watson, it was quite an entertaining show. They will not escape the house now.
You scum!
And this is the pistol used for the murder in Half Moon Street.
How'd you know about that?
Ah,
Have you closed the case yet, Sherlock?
of course we have Mycroft. You're late.
Mycroft, what are you doing here? Did you follow me?
Sherlock, it may seem that I used you, but you should be pleased to know that you have served our queen well, in this instance. So now, let us catch the big fish. But this man is not one of the merry men.
No.
Then why exactly are we here, Sherlock?
This gentleman, Charles Foley, has been involved in a double murder
Absolutely.
and the hunter of a set of valuable antiques, the Hellenistic treasures, which disappeared in a theft many years ago.
You're no better than the coppers!
Some might say he's better than them.
Holmes, that is incredible. The Hellenistic treasures.
Indeed.
Nothing but trifles. Where are the merry men?
I don't know why you are asking me, Mycroft. They are yours to find.
I'll see you soon, dear brother.
Don't move.
Just safe, long lost art. Hidden art. The antiques discovered inside the hidden safe are Batman Manor and Nottingham Hill represent the collection to be lost. Ah, yes. Man in jacket, which proves that point. Ah, yes. Foley's vengeance indeed. Absolutely. Ah. Justifiable innocence of Leighton. Beautiful. Absolutely. Kilo. Theft deserves the rope. Imprisoned for organising a grand theft. Since he is not directly guilty of the murder, his sentence will be shortened. Ooh. Huh. You know what? I'm gonna say that you might be expecting, you might not be, but considering if it weren't for the fact he's doing a planned act of sabotage, then I might consider absolving, even though I shouldn't. But considering he's planning this act of sabotage from this gunpowder, I'm gonna condemn him. Yes, you heard me, I'm going to condemn Foley. An act to save people. So this may backfire a bit, but you know what? I'm doing it. He's a nasty piece of work, and you know what? I'm gonna deal with him. Sorry, Foley, but we're gonna condemn you. Yep.
Charles Foley, you committed the crime of premeditated murder and of theft. You will be severely punished for your deeds.
You are pitiful, you Scotland Yard dog.
Save your words for the gallows. I'm sure the journalists will love them. I shall leave now, Watson. Gentlemen, please take our friends here into custody.
Where are you going?
I have unfinished business. I'll see you at Baker Street.
Ah yes, Leighton, of course. I think so, anyway. Oh.
Be careful with the lamps. Don't bring them too close to the barrels.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Who's there?
That is of no importance. What matters is who you are and the plans that you have here.
So you can stop us from carrying them out?
Eventually, yes.
Hey, careful. You'll blow us all up.
I'm listening.
We're a group known as the Merry Men. But I suppose you knew that already. We are the men who've already lost everything of value in their lives. We are ruined shopkeepers. We are workers who were fired from their jobs. Honest people who were robbed. We were forced out from our homes and thrown onto the street. And all of this in the name of the so-called law. The laws that were set out by our government. The laws that make the commoners only more vulnerable and the wealthy more protected. We are not only from the British Empire. Some of us are from the New Lands, America, Australia, and we are many. But men we are still, and we are merry for that we stopped being afraid. For those powers that be had done their best to plant the fear inside our souls, and we accepted it so easily. The fear advised us to keep our heads bowed. It prevented us from fighting. Bankers and politicians, they own our lives, our work, our bread, and they push us to compete between each other, just to see who may serve them better. But in the end, they are the few, so they are weak. They are nothing without their titles. We should not fear them. Our so-called masters should fear us instead. The time has come for our group to stand tall. Our great and many merry men. We are going to blow up the London Stock Exchange. No life shall be lost. But ownerships, debts, and property titles? They shall all be destroyed. They're only papers, after all. So many people will be freed over this night.
That is a radical step to take.
Very.
What result do you truly expect?
Chaos. But soon people will understand that they are free, and that they don't belong to anyone. They will be able to work for themselves, together, without letting the rulers dictate what to do, and finally justice will arise.
What you are intending to do is a crime. It is not justice.
True.
How do you see justice, then? Kids go to prison for a loaf of dry bread. And how many lords do you see punished for stealing from their people? sending them to their deaths in mines or overseas to fight for land. Our masters wouldn't hear us. So now it's time to sing the song of the merry men. Will you let us do our duty?
You know what? It's interesting to see what people think of my decision, but honestly, they're talking about the stock exchange, which, in a sense, to my understanding anyway, could be completely wrong, but to my understanding, that's also what's the economy. I know, I know there's a whole lot of stocks and everything go around, but back then, stocks and all that, how people invested in things, okay, that made people quite rich at times, but it also was a thing for how, if I know the thing in America how there was the great railway competitions, well, for the long stretching railway system, all this sort of stuff. There was lots of stocks invested through the stock exchange back then in shares, and as much as it was a race, it was also something that kept money pumping into the economy, which gave people jobs and everything. Which it's okay. It's in a label in a the bad version of of labor, but for what it's worth, it still gave people jobs. Which I know is one perspective. I completely understand that. But what I'm saying is that, in a sense, it's all the same effect. Where even like this is back in the day where there was a lot of poverty, and yes, there were a lot of rich people, there was a lot of poverty, but at the same time, there were actually that circulation also kept, even though there was tax laws and all this kind of bad stuff, there was also, if those, if they couldn't, if they're like, because a lot of stock, a lot of shares, lots of money going around the stock exchange, if that crashes, that's got a huge that's got ripple effects through a whole bunch of different things. And yes, okay, the poor may, win in the first week, but in the long term, it's actually going to hurt. It's actually going to make things worse. So, you might be surprised at my decision. You might not be, but I'm going to blow the damn thing up because I can't risk it being destroyed. As awful as the thing is being to people of the Merry Men, all that sort of thing, the long-term consequence is too great. And I'm not condemning the fact that I'm just saying that history is history, and this is just representing that was an aspect of history, and you can condemn them, you can praise them, you can say what you like. But at the end of the day, things worked the way they work. I mean, when you think about, honestly, in history, there are certain aspects of history where if certain things had not been the way they had, things would not be the way they are today. If you think about cause and effect, as strange as that sounds, as people probably don't realize this, I mean, yeah, and I'll give you a really good example. Within the World Wars, for perfect example, as strange as it may sound, some families would never have met each other, and some people would never have eventually married if, because of war, the family had not been forced to move. For sake of argument, if you get what I'm saying, cause and effect. I'm not saying war was necessary. I'm just saying because it happened, people, families were forced to move. Things happened, because of the race in America, the railway. There was all sorts of things that happened, cause and effect, and that history has caused certain things to become the way they are today because of where they happened in history. I mean, you're talking about the American Revolution, you're talking about the American Civil War, for example. There are certain things that happened in that thing that had a ripple effect that made things that made, the recognition level, there were certain types of recognition and rights that were given, taken, equalized, all that sort of thing. So, I mean, it's kind of interesting you think about what history, what aspects of history that never occurred, what might have happened? What would have changed? How drastic would it have been? That's what I'm trying to say. So I could go into great detail, but that would bring up a whole huge level of controversy. I don't want that go on about. So, but what I'm essentially saying is to avoid the whole thing of sometimes things have to happen for some eventual changes or things that are going to happen to occur. And that means the stock exchange has to be, so it means I have to stop it from being destroyed, which means I'm going to damn well detonate the gunpowder. Ergo, we're going to light the powder. I just want to explain that. I know it's a long-winded one, but I just want to give my thoughts and explain that. It's dangerous, but we can't let them do what they're going to do. I'm sorry.
When people fight the Order, they are too blind to see the consequences that throw society into chaos.
Correct.
I shall stop your actions, but not you. Run. Now!
Run like hell! He basically gave a simplified version. I would say of what I was talking about, you know. But in that more of a very not concentrate. What's the right word?
So, you're interested in Russian literature now?
Oh, so this Russian.
Quite lately.
It is an interesting book. I remember a few lines.
Really? I tried reading it myself, but I had a hard time understanding it.
Yes, Doctor. It's about intelligence. Sherlock, I vaguely recall one of the lines. Sometimes it takes something more than intelligence to act intelligently. There were also a few words along the lines of pain and suffering are always inevitable for a large intelligence and a deep heart. Tell me, Doctor, does my brother show any signs of pain or suffering?
Not that I know of.
Because you see, Doctor, behind all of his masquerade, my brother does possess a deep heart. So deep that he does not recall where he places his love.
Well, I'm sure that...
His love and his duty that, in the first place, should be directed towards the Empire. For without it, we would be nothing. A country filled with uncivilized men.
And the Empire needs order and discipline. It has no room for chaos.
True enough. To an extent,
People who
yes.
commit crimes, or at the very least intend them, deserve punishment, Sherlock. Without justice, there can be no civilization.
But we serve the truth, not justice.
Your truth, Doctor, that may prove immoral.
That's true, actually. as well.
Allowing people to terrorize London, destabilizing the whole empire.
Terrorize only the powers whom you serve, Mycroft. Not I, not Watson, not Mrs. Hudson, not Wiggins.
Sherlock, the merry men are to be stopped.
Not by me. You created the merry men. Stop them yourself.
Exactly.
Only make sure that you don't create 10 more merry men by arresting the one.
Very well said.
Good night, Dr. Watson.
You're a part of an intelligence type, Mycroft. You do what you need to do and you do it
Anything
your
in the
way.
post, Watson? Any clients worthy of our attention?
Only a second reminder from Mrs. Hudson about our new neighbour. She urges you to remove your...
Oh, I don't care about that.
Holmes, the lady who will be moving in shortly has requested the use of our spare room to place all of her boxes.
Wait. What? A lady?
It's like, what? A lady wants to move stuff into my place of residence. What? Sorry. That's funny. I find that funny. I mean, it's true. You know, Michael needs to leave. Sherlock makes the decisions. I mean, okay, it is our decision making it for him, but he's seeing it from the perspective of, in that moment, what is best for the case, for the future that person is condemning or absolving, and whatever, and how it affects their future and possibly whatever. Not always needs to be condemned or needs to be justice of the law. Mycroft serves for the Intelligence Committee and politics, law and justice, and he's on a whole nother level where it affects international, and he needs to do with what he does and worry about his stuff and let Sherlock worry about if I want to put like suburban and, you know, local stuff, and let Mycroft worry about the bigger picture of things. That's not Sherlock's thing to worry about. It really isn't. At least that's my view on it. But seriously, you know, Mycroft's condemning us, and like, just like, hey, you just worry, you do what you need to do and stop, leave me alone, all right? God. Charles for organizing and executed a wicked plan of revenge for his older brother. It took 2 human lives and almost resulted in life imprisonment for another innocent man. In fact, his band was hired by the Merry Men, who planned the revolution in London. In addition, he organized the theft of ancient valuables and treasures. Yes, I accept the decision. Condemn. Yep, condemn Foley. Foley's doing it. Yep. Case, yes. Very conscientious. If you actually chose to condemn them all, you actually get a very different personality rating, I should point out. True. It depending on we absolve or condemn, it affects your personality rating. Not even kidding. If you haven't played this. That was actually, I mean, okay, you can, and I've said this during the Kew Gardens drama, that this game had very much it was like, had the graphics and gameplay of, you know, a PS3, Xbox generation, like the style that you'd find on the previous, because this on the PS4, and it's very much the mechanics, graphical, texture, all that sort of gameplay style of a previous console, the PS3 and the Xbox 360, but it's almost like it's been remastered, and the story concept, and it is perfectly playable on this box. Okay, there's a little bit of lag here and there, but it's one of those things which you can forgive and see past them when you actually look at the actual story itself, the characters, and okay, some of the mechanics are a bit unusual and not quite what you would expect with games of today in the last few years. But I mean, if I think the PlayStation 4 was released in, I think it was 2012, if memory serves me correctly. So I probably got a year or two out. But this game was only released, if it was 2012, this game was only released like 2 years after that. So it was very early on in the PS4 life cycle. So I mean, when you think it's probably more like a remastered of like I'm not even sure if this game was originally on PS3. I have no idea. Maybe someone let me know if it was. But if it was, it is a remastered version. That's fine. You know, it's bringing a system that had potential to be reimagined on PS4. But I think it's fine that they did it and just did what you could almost call remastered PS3 version on next gen console, which is fine. I think that's perfectly okay. You know, it's not something that has to have, you know, overboard, you know, fighting, combat, shooting level where, you know, you would need the sort of remaking version on the next gen console. You don't really need that. But, you know, there's enough of mechanics which you can tell they're probably from a previous gen console, but it's perfectly fine that it's not all the time. You can just go with the simple gameplay mechanics. It doesn't need to go overboard, so it's perfectly fine. Just I thought and noticed. Honestly, the only two things I take back are some of the quick time events, how quick, and how I mentioned about the red circle, how they should have been more specific about the area so that you can get so you can get out there. Oh yes, that's the circle there with Mrs. White. I really wanted to save her, but I just put in a circle there and nothing, you know. And I don't know where I should put it to a face or whatever, and I failed it because I put in a circle there. I didn't know whether I clicked it fast enough, but it didn't work, and I was sad about that, and I thought, you know, I could have actually perhaps done better, so, but it's one of those things. I think that's a downside of this, honestly, but there was, you know, a little bit of a lag, and sometimes, I think, honestly, there was some, you know, sometimes there's some of the clues. It would have been nice if they actually had, you know, the point where, um, you know, I mentioned, like, you know, where it shows about the possible acrobat, when they should almost give you a hint of, it should be like a objective of, look into this, or they sort of give you a hint of, oh, you should go and look to this path to, you know, start off this little journey. But it's rather than, you know, it says look at the clues, but at the same time there should be an objective that says that should actually almost say, now I should consider, or the character in the narration should say, now let me re-examine all the clues I've gathered and see what I can come up with. Something like that, that almost makes you think, especially if the game recognizes that you've already found all the clues you have to from so far, and it's just a matter of working out the correct deductions. I mean, apart from the whole conclusions, which whether be wrong or correct or would absolve, condemn, but the lead up to it and actually getting the actual final conclusion, sometimes there should be that thing where it actually tells you, and it's almost like it tells you, oh, I found the clues. Now I need to sort them out and figure out actually what order, what's right, what isn't, and if it means shuffling, if it means, you know, spending like 5-10 minutes actually picking through, making a decision, conscience and thinking, you know, comprehensively think, okay, this could have done that and that could have done this. Take your time. It'd be nice if it told us that. I know the last gen consoles, it didn't always. It was like it had to automatically be figured out. But with the current gen consoles, the PS1, Xbox One, and all that, there's a lot of games which, you know, if they do that, actually tell you that, or there's actually an objective or a hint that's saying, oh, actually go and look at this, or they give you sort of a hint saying you should maybe consider looking this direction, or maybe think about this. It gives you sort of a directional hint. Where the other one, the previous gen, a lot of the games I played or looked or seen were more. They didn't tell you anything. It's more like it's there, but use your brain. So, which I don't know, it's a lack of gameplay or lack of coding or whether it's intentional. I'm not sure. But there was now, believe it or not, there was actually a thing about. I believe this game was and I could be very wrong. I believe this game was developed by I think it was a Russian studio, might have been Ukrainian. I'm not 100% sure. Um, excuse me, I think it was a Russian studio. Um, and in case you're wondering why I'm mentioning this, of all the place of, I'm not saying that the Russians don't have good gaming studios. I'm not condemning. I'm not having a go at them for that. If anything, I'm praising them. All I'm saying is, I would have thought and would have expected, with the Sherlock Holmes of British literature, you would expect it from a British studio, or maybe a French studio, or anything else. I wouldn't have expected it from somewhere other than that. And I think that really, um, I have to compliment them. I praise this. I'm pretty sure it was a Russian studio. I think, if my memory serves me correctly, it's almost like the book was almost like a reference to the fact of that. So, and I praise them. They did a really good job. You know, did a really, especially with the British accents and all that. I think they did a really good job, because not always when you're representing a famous folklore character or famous mythological character, whatever it be, from another country, and you have to get the accents, you have to get the style, the setting, the method, the mood, the scenery, the music. Sometimes they don't always get 100% right. In this one, I feel how the representation was pretty much accurate to what I've always understood of Sherlock Holmes. I'm not a great expert, but I know it's very synonymous. I've known about him since I was a kid in terms of being synonymous with famous detective. Even though he's a character of a book, he became synonymous from, and still is even today, with crime solving, with criminal mysteries and unique ways of deductions and crime solving and all this sort of thing and criminal analysis, you know. And it became very, very famous in that regard. And I think that's absolutely awesome. But it was really interesting how that was pulled, just in the fact that how they've done a really good representation. And I really think I say great job to them. They did a fantastic job in my opinion. I mean, if you look at, like I said, with the whole previous gen style of how to do things, it's forgivable because it's not necessary at times. You know, you can look past it, and you know what? For what they did and the way they used his ability with focus mode, with deduction, how he can paint a picture of the mood. I believe that's how it was written up and designed in the books as well. If I could be wrong, but I think that's how the intention was, if it wasn't already written out that way about Sherlock Holmes as a character. But they deal with the whole, you know, his trusted friend and assistant with Dr. Watson. He's got the doctor. Well, I'm not sure if he's previous military. Maybe that's just from the program. Maybe someone can confirm or deny that for me in the comments. I'm not 100% sure. That's from the Learn for the TV program. But you know, his almost arrogance, but very methodical way of thinking, very logical, very, you know, it's very black and white, and if there's any grey area, explores it with that very calm, logical way of thinking. Very no unnecessary knowledge. It's only what you need to know. You know, and everyone else sees, oh, what about this straight piece? Like, no, hang on a minute. What is everything? Have you looked at this? Have you taken everything into account? What about everything else you haven't considered? And I love how Sherlock has done that sort of thing. And he takes half look at the scene. Like, I want to watch the program Sherlock Holmes on TV with Benedict Cumberbatch. The way it looks at the scene, it's like it determines 15 things at once, and the police and all that. And Watson's just like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? It's just like, how the hell do you not notice these things? It's sort of like an arrogance, but it's funny. It's like you expect him to know all the things that no one else does, you know. And Sherlock's just like, guys, aren't you intelligent enough to follow? And it's like he just doesn't care. Maybe partially doesn't realize, but he just doesn't care, or just too arrogant to realize that no one's actually has the ability to see and realize things that he sees in the way that he sees them. And I think that's kind of hilarious in that way, and it's kind of nice. Just it's a bit of arrogance, but you know, he's deserved it in the sense that it's a character. It's not like a real life thing. If it was any relevance from real life thing, I have no idea. It might be, but since it was derived from that character, which is quite brilliant, arrogant, but very extremely good and very resourceful, extremely clever in the way they do things, and unique. And I love that. And I think this game does such a good job on that. I really do. I was just interested to see if there's anything extra, but doesn't look like. But yeah. I actually enjoyed this game. Ever since when I was assigned when not to do this, start this channel up. One of the games I had always intended to play was this one, because I really enjoyed it. And I really wanted to show. And there's other games such attempted, and they've thrown those other attempted horror with action shooters and all. It's like, I'm thinking, why? Don't put all this unnecessary crap into it. I'm not saying you can't put good, you know, historical mythology and all that stuff into it, but at the same time, focus on the aspects that are there, like with this game. Maybe put the updated graphics, all that sort of stuff, but keep it what it's supposed to be. If you're gonna put in, you know, mythology with investigation, fine, but don't go overkill with some games I've played. It ruins it so badly. If any of you know the games that have come in the last few years, you'll know exactly which ones I'm mentioning, and we won't talk about because we already know what I'm saying. So, you know, but yeah, I think it was actually, I enjoyed this. It was a bit challenging, frustrating, but I don't mind that. And the whole, I did enjoy this game. This is the third time I played this game. I'm still enjoying it. it was frustrating, but I still enjoyed it because I love the character Sherlock Holmes. Very interesting, funny at times, but yeah, very enjoyable. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna end it here. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Thank you for all the support you show on this series. I really do appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. Probably had a good laugh here and there. I'm not sure. I hope you understand why I made the decisions I did. We're absolved condemning. You probably have your own opinion, own thoughts. I find that everyone's entitled to them, but I hope you understood why I did it. Hope you appreciate the way I explained it. Hope you maybe even enjoyed it. So yeah. So yeah, again, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for all the support you show on the series. And I will catch you next time for a brand new Let's Play. Take care, everyone.